As the current console generation is coming closer and closer to an end, it's making a lot of people think, no, not just the only one, but a lot of people, on which games their preferred platform is going to make in the next generation. Now, we all know I prefer Xbox over anything else, so I'm going to focus on this video on, I don't know how many fucking games, to be honest. I have a whole list that I want to go through, but I'm not going to go through all of them because it's going to be a super long video. So maybe I might split this into different parts. This is going to be part one if there's more parts. If not, the only part. But I'm going to go through 5 games in this one. Maybe more in the next. Who knows? That I think are going to come out next generation. Don't know what part. Don't know if it's the beginning, middle, or end. No idea. But I have a strong belief that at least some of these games will come out within this next generation. If none of them come out, oh well, it was just dreaming, speculation, and hope. Just a quick side note, most of these games are going to be rare games, like from rare, like rareware or whatever you want to call them. So if you don't like these games or the list, just fuck off and watch another video. But yeah, so now let's get to it. I'm starting off with number 5 as straight up because I really want this game to happen. It's a pipe dream at this point. Scalebound, of course. I'm talking about it again. Scalebound, we all know the sad, tragic story, was canceled. But my theory, as I said in my last video about when Nintendo might buy it, excuse me, about when Nintendo might buy it, I really do think Microsoft is saving it for the next generation. And if it does come out, I do think one of its new, recently acquired studios is going to make it. Like, it makes perfect sense. I said it in my last video that Ninja Theory is a perfect candidate to make a game that size. Hellblade, I just started playing it and it's fucking amazing. It's somewhat similar to the concept of Scalebound, so it wouldn't be far off for them to make Scalebound if it's possible, just to start it off. Like, don't change anything from what we saw in the previous videos, the trailers and the reveals and all that. Just continue from where Platinum left off. So I'm starting off with number 5 because like it's a given. I'm gonna keep talking about this game as soon as I get the chance. So that's why it's at number 5. Number 4 is gonna confuse a lot of people. Conquer. A next Conquer game. Doesn't matter if it's Conquer 2 or Conquer 3, depending on if Live and Reloaded was... No, it's a reboot. So no, it's gonna be Conquer 2 or whatever they want to call it. Not counting Project Spark, the last Conquer game was over 15 years ago, wasn't it? 2004 was Conquer Live and Reloaded. I don't know, but it was years ago. So bottom line is, I think it's time for a new Conquer game. And not the version that we got in the fucking Microsoft HoloLens. That is an abortion that should have never been even made. I don't know who's responsible for that design on Conquer. But if they do make a Conquer game and he looks like that, it's not going to sell. Mainly because he looks different. People like the way he looked, and it has to be rated M. It has to be fucking rated M. He might look cutesy and everything, but his violence and his foul-mouthness and his being an asshole is what gave him his reputation. Not being a cute fucking platformer. If they wanted a cute platformer, Mario, Banjo, the Bandicoot, Spyro, like, they're all cutesy platformers. But what actually made Conquer stand out was his maturity. That's it might not have sold when it was in the 64 because it was at the end of its life cycle. Excuse me, I'm speaking a little too fast. And the same situation happened with the Xbox, the original Xbox edition version. It sold at the end of its life cycle. So maybe if it were to be released at the beginning or the middle of the generation, it probably could stand a chance. But who knows? Only time will tell. Perfect Dark 3. Now, Perfect Dark, I have never finished it, but I've played a couple of times. Perfect Dark Zero, I actually finished, and it's actually a prequel to Perfect Dark. So in order, it should go Perfect Dark Zero, Perfect Dark Nintendo 64, and if they were to make another Perfect Dark, it would be that. Fun fact though, the creator of the Perfect Dark series, Chris Seaver, I want to say his name is, I don't know. He was actually working on a concept for Perfect Dark Core, that's what he called it. Where it's basically, it continues a couple of years after Perfect Dark. And it just got turned down. At the time, it got turned down by Microsoft, and it just never came to light. So, who knows? I'm 50-50 on whether they're going to greenlight that, because they already said no to it once. They might say no to it now, but if they do, it'll be a good plus for Microsoft, because, again, there's not that many games where the female is the protagonist. The only ones that can come to mind are Tomb Raider, but that had its last game recently, so I don't think there's going to make any more. I really don't know any other female protagonists in video games. The only true iconic ones were her, Joanna Dark, and I know there's more, but I just can't come. They can't come to mind. So, yeah, Perfect Dark 3 will be a perfect, no pun intended, addition to the next Microsoft generation. Banjo 4 or Banjo 3 depends on if you want to count Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts as canon or not. I remember when this game came out, they had so much controversy. I'll say it right now. Compared to the first two, it does not stack up. But play it on its own, and it's actually really fun. It had a new mechanics, which I liked. It took some getting used to, but I actually liked them. The building mechanics I thought were fucking good. What I like is that, I don't know if a lot of people liked it or if it stood out to a lot of people, is that every world you entered, like, it wasn't the same. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, in the first world, you start off, the Indian chick, what's her name? Wanga or whatever her fucking name is. Her and Mumbo are actually married. But in reality, they actually hate each other. So in that world, they're married. But if you go to another world, they're like rivals or something. Like, so every world that you visit has its own, like, world, like its own universe. And I actually like that, because there was like variety to how characters see each other in different worlds. And I actually like that. I don't know if a lot of people picked up on that, but I really liked it. Like I said, the building mechanic is fucking great. And like how in most, like in past Banjo games, you can visit any world. Doesn't matter if you had like enough jiggies or the thing that did stop you was musical notes. So you couldn't go to every world, but in this world, in this game, if you didn't have a certain move or a certain amount of jiggies or skills, you wouldn't like survive in that world. Mainly because there's this one world, I can't remember which world it is or what it's called, but it basically takes place inside an Xbox 360 or an Xbox, like the original Xbox. Because you actually see one of the games spinning, so I know it's inside a console. And that fucking, I had no idea when I first played it that you had to have a certain amount of skills, and your car had to be, or the vehicle you made had to be a certain level, or it had certain features and shit. So I kept getting my ass kicked in that world, and I like that, because if like, not only is it doesn't force you to go a certain way, but it encourages you to want to try something differently. I can't explain it well. Hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say. But Banjo 4 or Banjo 3, whatever you want to call it, if it were to be made, I honestly think it would just retcon nuts and bolts. And I'm both okay with it, and yeah, I'm actually okay with it. I really don't. It's not that I don't care. I just prefer the platformer of back then and not the platformer builder of 2008, you know? I'll give a quick honorable mention to Fuzion Frenzy. If you don't know what Fuzion Frenzy is, I feel sorry for you. It is fucking fun. I remember going to San Antonio, visiting some family, and one of my cousins there had an Xbox, and he had Fuzion Frenzy. Fuzion Frenzy is basically the Microsoft version of Mario Party, but it's really cool. Like, it's awesome. I haven't played this game in years, and as I'm making this video, I'm downloading it on my Xbox One for the Game Pass, and oh my god, this game brings back so many good memories. Like, I don't think they're really gonna make it, but I would like to see it. So, I mean, and also if Microsoft really wants to copy Nintendo, they shouldn't copy the Smash formula. Because Sony already did that, and look at all the shit that Sony got for it. So, I don't know, maybe, because Nintendo really has a firm grip on that type of fighting style game. So, yeah, and party games are much more accepted than just like standard fighting games. Because I don't really think there's like a competitive scene in those kind of party games. If there is, I haven't seen one. So, yeah. Fuzion Frenzy, I really do hope gets a sequel, but who knows? I think it's just wishful thinking at this point. The reason I think Killer Instinct is #1, and it's not just because it quickly became one of my favorite games this past year. It's because the last update to this game was almost 3 years ago, so I think it's time for Microsoft to make a new one. And to make like an actual AAA release, not a AA or whatever you fucking want to call it, where they pretty much did no marketing whatsoever for the game. And I think it would be a good addition to the game, to the Microsoft world. Now, I don't know if Rare will be the one to develop the game. I highly doubt it, because they're already working on Sea of Thieves, and their upcoming game Battletoads is not going to be fully developed by Rare. It's going to be developed by La La Land or something. But it does still have the Rare logo at the end of the trailer when it was released. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just because it belongs to them, or because they're really going to work on it a little. For Killer Instinct, I have two hopes that it happens. For what if it happens, make it rated M, and make it much more story-based than the last one. It did have somewhat of a story mode, but I can't explain it. In order for you to understand it, you have to play Killer Instinct 2013. I'm going to call it Killer Instinct 3 because it is technically the third one, even though it's much more of a reboot than a continuation. Killer Instinct 3 did have a story mode, but it's not exactly what you think. It's not like Mortal Kombat-esque story mode. It's weird. Like I really don't know how to explain it. Maybe if I want to in the future, I can stream myself playing the story mode again so you can understand what I'm trying to say. But for now, let's just say that it needs a proper story mode that can tie in with the last games and with the comic series. If you didn't know, I had a comic series. So, like Mortal Kombat X. I don't think it actually references anything in the comics. So, if Killer Instinct does that, it could probably have a small leg up on Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is still going to be more light because it's multi-platform. And also because of the blood and gore. That's the main reason people like Mortal Kombat. Let's fucking admit it. Let's face it, alright? The M rating I'm asking for Killer Instinct is because most fighting games, especially like the fantasy style fighting games like Soul Calibur and Marvel vs. Capcom and all that shit, the attacks, it looks so fantasy-ish, whereas Mortal Kombat and Killer Instinct, they actually look real. Like, you get fucking hit and you bleed. So, and that's actually the last Killer Instinct did have somewhat of a couple of blood splatters and shit, but it's nothing compared to Mortal Kombat. So, what I'm trying to say is, Killer Instinct 4, or whatever they want to call it, if they want to give it a sub-name, should be more mature in its tone but also add something new to the Killer Instinct formula. Because if you're not gonna add anything new, just make a season 4 for the current Killer Instinct. It's that simple. Just make a new season. That'll be all for today. Maybe I might make a PlayStation 4 and a Nintendo one. Don't fucking count on it. If I want to, or if I have enough games on the list where I can make 1 or 2 videos on it, I will. But because I'm an Xbox player, I'm gonna prioritize Xbox over anything. So if you don't like it, you can fuck off or whatever. And yeah, that'll be all for today, to this video. So with all that being said, I really hope you like this fucking list video. Make sure you share it with everyone who thinks they know the games that are gonna come out for the next generation, whether it be PlayStation, Switch, or Xbox. See if we got the same ideas. And with all that being said, I hope you fuckers like, comment, and sub. And I will see you fuckers later.